going on, Thrallers? Miller here. Today I'm going to be going over Static Abyss, Nothing Left to Rot. Now this is a band that was formed by two guys, Greg Wilkinson and Chris Reifert, both of Autopsy, although I do think Greg started playing bass just recently, within the last few years or so. Chris Reifert, you may recognize his name. He's been in metal forever, since the mid-'80s. He was actually on Death's first full-length album, Scream Bloody Gore. This came out on Peaceville Records. They got a lot of doom death stuff on that record label. I'm going to have to go through their lineup and kind of listen to the bands there. That seems like a lot of stuff I may like. Now, this album has a very, very much rooted in death doom, that slow, just atmospheric kind of graveyard, desolate, feeling. Just real heavy, thick atmosphere. First song, Festering on Eyes, actually starts off with really like a crust punk kind of thrash feel to it, and then it goes into the most death doom thing I've heard in a long time, and it really, again, sets up the album, and there's a lot more doom to this than anything else, which I like. I love doom metal. They stick to the horror gore theme throughout this entire album, both sonically and with the lyrics and everything like that. Nothing Left to Rot, the title track here, is very horror metal sounding, and then it honestly sounds like you're listening to like a 70s horror movie that's just going on in the background while this song is going. And everything they do in this album to create atmosphere and fill out the sound of the recording, seems like it's all done with guitars, which is great. I've been kind of griping on that a little bit, and I just don't understand why more guitarists that are talented enough are able to do this, create those atmospheric sounds, those soundscape stuff with the guitar. The guitar is a versatile instrument, and under the right hands can be used for such a thing, and this is a great example of that, and how you can utilize the guitar to fill out those sounds without using keys or synths or anything like that. They got some real old school death metal feel to it, and some of these songs, like Mandatory Cannibalism, that's a very straight kind of old school death metal. And then there's parts of the album, the next song, Labyrinth of Veins. It's borderline like a stoner doom metal, very sludgy and slow. I normally don't care for the kind of like that kind of tone to a vocal performance, but in this album, it doesn't bother me as much as some of the other things he's done in the past. And Jawbone Ritual, you get a little bit of Autopsy in there. It sounds like an Autopsy riff, but you're gonna have that come through. I mean, the guy's in Autopsy, so it's gonna happen. But that's not a bad thing. I like Autopsy, so I like those little nods to what they've done before in here, and just crushing the doom death part of this album. Then the last song, Clawing to the Top of the Dead, it's got a very, very like necrophagia kind of feel to it. Not necessarily maybe the song sound is in terms of writing, but it just kind of feels like necrophagia. And I dig that little guitar, the guitar riff in the faster part. It kind of hangs on for an extra bar where it should, it kind of feels like it should end, but it hangs on for an extra bar. But he does a good job with it, that it makes sense and it kind of fits. Whereas some of that stuff, when people do that, it seems off. It kind of takes away from the song sometimes, but this is done really well. It fits. I think that has to do more with the drumming in terms of like tying it all together and making it fit very well. The guitar riff is great and I love it, but if you didn't have that solid and that talented of a drummer behind that to really make that seamless, you'd be in trouble. But luckily for these guys, they got Chris, so he's more than capable. Now, this album, I was going to go a little bit higher than that, but I'm going to fall right back into that 4 out of 5. And because the kind of that thing with the vocals that I don't care for, and the fact that I've talked about this in I think it was the Undeath or the Sentient Horror, that some of these doom metals, it's like one tempo and then half that tempo. This kind of falls into that. I hear like the faster parts are like 150, and then they drop down to like 75, and it's like 75 to 150, 150 to 75, and it's just boom, boom, boom. I think in the Death Doom There's that area between 140 and 160, 165 beats a minute, and then you can kind of play in that range and then cut that in half and still get your point across and still have that Death Doom vibe to it, but just vary the tempo just a little bit to make it a little interesting and not seem the same. I think it's more like your brain just kind of toward the end of the album, you get so used to hearing one tempo and the other, and it's switching back and forth between those two tempos that it loses some of the impact that some of these transitions that could have if the tempo was maybe varied a little bit. And bumping it by just 3 or 4 beats a minute, one way or the other, could have a great impact on the tune. But overall, this is a crushingly awesome Death Doom album, more focused on the Doom side of things, which is my bag, man. I'm really in like a Doom metal state of mind. It's been kind of nice because these recent albums that I've reviewed are more just death metal. So it may be by me listening to a lot of Doom, it's refreshing to kind of hear the death metal. That combined with the fact that these releases this week have all been really great. This is a killer week. It really has been. And I was really surprised. I guess not surprised by this one because I'm aware of Chris's work and I'm a fan of his drumming. And I wasn't surprised, I guess, but it was refreshing not to hear just an Autopsy clone, and they did not do that at all. This is a totally unique thing for these guys. I wouldn't say that the album itself is unique in the sound because Death Doom has been done before, but this is done very well. And if you like Doom metal, you like death metal, then this is perfect. This is a solid, almost 50-50 mix of it. You get a lot of doomy stuff. Tectonic Graveyard is almost all Doom side of thing. You get that little speed up in the middle part, which breaks it up a little bit. But honestly, I could have done without that and just kept to that straight Doom feel. But it did help that song in particular break it up a little bit. But yeah, overall, this is another solid killer release. And this, for a first album, these guys are killing it already. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do and who they bring on in terms of live shows to see how this transitions live, which it should do just fine. Like I said, everything in the background stuff is all guitars, so it might be easy for them to use some sort of delay pedal on stage or just have something pre-recorded. But honestly, I don't even know. The riffs are so solid, the drumming's solid, everything's so solid about the album, I don't even know if they need that extra stuff. It helps fill out the album, but when you're live, it may not even be necessary. Say another high praise from me on the album this week. So if you like this album and like the video, give it a thumbs up. And what did you think of the album? Let me know in the comments. Is there anything else that you've been jamming this week? I want to see. I want to add it to my playlist. So when I'm doing my stuff throughout the week, my business, I got some tunes to jam. You guys are great. Our community is great for giving us new bands to listen to. Say I'm going to be doing another Vinyl Thoughts thing, showing you a couple, maybe I'll dig out those Morbid Angels that I got a little bit ago. I got an original pressing of one of them, so we'll dig through that and get back to the Vinyl Thoughts thing. Been trying to get a couple things off the ground and going. I collect these pop things, and I'm going to be selling these things on Whatnot. So if you're into these pop guys, this is my Kerry King. This is one of my favorites. I also got, I can show you here. This is metal related, right? Oh, there goes Kerry. Tom Araya. This is another one. I dig this one. But yeah, Kerry's, this one in particular was my favorite. I like Kerry King. A lot of people, some people rag on him, I guess, but he's a rhythm player. I'm a rhythm player. I'm going to be doing my first show on there, so if you guys want to come in and hang out and see what I do outside of Thralls with my childlike behavior, you can check out the stream later on tonight, Tuesday, April 26th. I'll put the link down there, and a little bit of shameless self-promotion. Sorry, guys, but it may be fun to have some of y'all in there and chat. We also have shirts. This is the OG. These are available. I think we marked them down like $12. The new one, the Mark Riddick design, is up there. Thrallsofmetal.com. Click on store. It'll take you over there, and I'll get it all wrapped up and shipped out to you. And that about wraps this video up. Nick is back. We will be, me and him will be doing some reviews for this week's releases coming out Friday. And I think he's got a lot of collections updates to do. He hit about every record store he could, so it'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing his videos and seeing what he's got. And he's, we talked on the phone about stuff. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to see that. So stay tuned for that. Hit the subscribe and notifications so you can see what Nick got on his epic vacation. But until next time.